Welcome, welcome to the Living in Utah question and answer on Thursday evening. I hold this every Thursday evening at the same time, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And it's opportunity. You can ask, open the floor. This is unrehearsed, unedited. I open the floor. You can, any questions you want. Living in Utah, real estate, investing, renting, purchasing, whatever questions you have. Also, questions about the United States. I get a lot of reach outs from around the world. First ever little bit of communication was from, in the last week, was from someone from Moscow. So I was, taken back by that one a little bit. And then I was just talking on the phone to somebody from Puerto Rico. So by all means, you can ask questions about the United States too. When you're getting questions from people that are in the United States, it's a little different than out of the country, because some things in the United States translate from state to state. We all, we're familiar with like the DMV and Costco and processes and what property taxes are, et cetera, changes a little bit from state to state, but in general, people know the terms. So, but, no question is a dumb question. I mean, by all means, shoot it out there. And if I do respond to a question and you feel maybe I didn't explain it enough, by all means, go ahead and shoot me a question on it. So, because I just shoot from the hip here, this is live, this is unrecorded, unedited. So as I monitor everything and talk at the same time, sometimes I get a little confused myself. But I also want to talk tonight about, last week we were talking about states with the highest house appreciation. And going along with that, I found another report on employment, job growth. And I've talked about this a few times about how the state of Utah, the job growth has expanded, especially in northern Utah. Huge. So this report actually shows Utah ranking first for job growth over the last 10 years. This report was done from 2010 to 2020. So from July to July of those years. But Utah came in first place at 29% change in job growth. That's enormous numbers. Idaho came second. Arizona came third. Florida is fourth. Colorado, fifth. Texas, then Nevada, South Carolina, Georgia, and Washington. And this kind of goes along the same lines of house appreciation and how some markets are doing with the housing. I mean, Texas, Colorado, Idaho, Arizona, Utah. I talked to agents all over the country, and they express the same thing. A lot of people moving there, low inventory, et cetera. So, with the job growth, and that's what's happened here in Utah, the job growth, and the housing is having a hard time keeping up with some of that. So I like numbers like that especially for the future. Whenever you're investing in a state, and I invest in the state of Utah, whether it's commercial properties or residential, I have both in the state of Utah. And it's important to me that growth will continue with appreciation and everything that goes with that. So whether it's commercial property or residential. So to me, statistics like that is very important. So will it level off? Will it go down? Don't know. I know the long-term forecast is for Utah's job growth to continue. They're very, very pro-business, and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes to bring more companies here and to grow the companies in Utah. And one of those things that's being talked about is the state of Utah is putting their name in the hat to hold the Winter Olympics again, like they held in 2002. Will they be awarded to Utah? I don't know. I'm not on the committee, but they have the facilities here from 2002. A lot of those facilities are still in Utah. So they have a lot of the infrastructure to handle the Olympics. So, but that will increase, in my opinion, it will increase job growth and everything that goes along with it. Because I really noticed it really in Utah, really took off after about 2002. I think a lot of people came here for the Olympics. Some people decided to make a move here. Some people decided to own a second home here. And some people moved their businesses here, companies. So especially in the outdoor recreational scene, whether it's hiking, mountain biking, companies that are affiliated with anything outdoors, I think when they were here for the Olympics, they probably got a good view of everything that's here and thought, wow, it'd be great to be located where these activities are widely being used. So I saw a lot of growth from 2002. Okay, load me up with some questions. I'm ready. If you have any questions or comments or things we should cover, that's what we're here for. It's been a great week in Utah. We have had a couple storm systems come through, produce some snow in the mountains, and just rain pretty much in the lower elevations along the valley floor. We have another front coming in this weekend. So it's we appreciate the water. So we rely on the snowpack in the mountains to provide us water to water our yards and drinking water, et cetera, et cetera. So love to have that snowpack in the mountains. So and most of it comes through the winter months. They rely so heavily on the winter snowpack. Between the winter snowpack and how fast it melts. So if it melts too quick, it's not a good sign. But we love the storms that come through. It's great for our landscape and everything else. So need the precipitation. Not much else going on in Utah that I can think of at the moment. Our COVID numbers are still on the decline. I think last week I said that the rolling average for a week was about 1,700. I'm not too sure what it is this week because I did not hear what the rolling average was. But I think today we're 1,500. I think we've been 1,500 for a couple days, 12 to 1,500. This past weekend, we were, I think, below 1,000. I noticed that the weekend numbers sometimes are a little bit lower, sometimes the Sunday, Monday numbers, but our numbers have stayed down a little bit. So the new strain, the strain that's more contagious, is supposedly in the state of Utah. We'll see how that goes. The governor just announced that starting March the 1st, they are going to vaccinate people over the age of 65, so 65 to 70. Currently, anybody who is in education or medical field can get a vaccination, and anyone over the age of 70 can get a vaccination through the month of February. Beginning in March, they're going to lower that number to 65 and above can go get a vaccination, and people with certain medical conditions. And they're supposed to produce a list that if you have certain medical conditions, you also could get in on that vaccination in March. So numbers are good. I noticed that our vaccine distribution numbers are higher. What the government is sending us has increased over the last week, which is good news also. So more vaccines, hopefully more people can get vaccinated, and cetera, et cetera. I will be one of those people that will be in line when the opportunity arises. So I don't qualify at the moment, but I would imagine if we can get in the next month or so, everybody over 65 to 70 years old vaccinated, they'll start lowering the numbers, the age limits down. How long does a person need to work to be able to buy a house? Well, that really depends on if it's self-employed income or it's W-2 income. They will take W-2 income. Sometimes people will switch jobs, so you don't need a certain length of time. It's the continuation they look at. So there's not, and we have a lot of people come from out of state in the state of Utah, and the mortgage people, they take all that into consideration because you have tax returns, W-2s from other jobs, and you're moving from that job to take a job here. And they'll see what the new income is and what the previous income was and tax returns, et cetera, et cetera. If you are self-employed, now I'd have to check with a mortgage person on the self-employed, but I believe for self-employed, it used to be they wanted 2-year tax returns. So you pretty much had to be employed as a self-employed individual for 2 years. Yeah, W-2. Yeah. Yeah, W-2 income is fine. They'll look at all that, so not a problem. Not a problem at all. And there are different loan programs, so each loan program has different criteria to meet and not meet. So I've got a great mortgage person that I can put you in contact with, and he definitely could explain it a little bit better than I can. I don't get involved a whole lot in that side of it. The mortgage side, I kind of separate myself a little bit from it. And it's mostly because I respect people's privacy. So I personally do not feel that I need to know what someone's income is or what their assets are, what they have in savings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I let them discuss that with the mortgage person to try to get qualified. It's a very sensitive subject. Some people don't want to share, what they make or what their assets are, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm totally fine with that. If I don't know, my main thing I need to know is how much someone is qualified for. Can you buy a $500,000 house, $1 million house? What's the qualifications? Should we be shopping in that market? Because if you're qualified for $500,000 and you're looking at $1 million homes, it's not going to work out usually, unless we were in a different market and we were in a buyer's market and we had lots and lots of inventory. Then maybe some people would be coming down off their price to get that, but not in the current market. So, and we have some savings. Yeah, savings is great. Down payment amounts are definitely great for approval. So there are different loan programs that take that into consideration. But yeah, savings is definitely great. Yeah, if you're putting money down on a house. Yep, 100%. Another question: the diversion thing in Utah isn't toxic, is it? I don't understand the question. The diversion thing. Yeah, I'm not 100% know where we're going on that question. You have me a little bit lost. So Inversion. Okay. There you go. So an inversion. So basically, we live in northern Utah. We live in a bowl, in a sense. That's what I call it. I call it a bowl. You have mountains on either side. So create this bowl. The colder, dirty air gets trapped, and a warm layer settles on top of it and acts like a lid and pushes down, and that air cannot, polluted air, the colder air doesn't have anywhere to escape, just like being a lid on a bowl. I find that's the best way to explain it. We wait for a storm system to come through and blow it out, basically. That's the only relief there is. So the inversion days there was just a report released a few months ago from the EPA. And I believe it was the PM 2.5 reading, which is like the small particles. We were meeting the federal standards, and previous years we were not. So from the report, they said the air is getting better in Utah. So the air quality, it's something that Utah has fought for many, many years, between emission programs and no burn days and putting like filters on some factories. They've worked really, really hard. There's been programs out there to get rid of some of the wood burning stoves, all kinds of things to improve the air quality. And I've actually personally, this isn't a scientific, but my travels through the Salt Lake Valley, that's typically where I've seen through the Salt Lake Valley is where I've seen the worst inversion. My travels this winter through there, we seem to have less red air days this year. So they grade it on a scale, basically red, yellow, and green. There's like some oranges they mix in there now. It used to be just red, yellow, and green. Now the news people have like got an orange category, but I've noticed less red air days. And some of it can be due to COVID, people working from home, less cars on the road, et cetera, et cetera. And some has to be probably contributed to some of the efforts that the state of Utah has done to improve some air quality. So it's, but people who have health conditions, have to be careful on days of inversion. You can always escape to the mountains and you're above it. So take a trip up to Park City, do some shopping if it's a red air day, et cetera, et cetera. There are some options. Staying indoors, they tell people, but it can be. I've always had issues since I was a kid with asthma. I take some medication, I take the rescue inhaler, et cetera, et cetera. But when we do get red air days, I notice it in my lungs because my airways are not 100% working to 100% capacity. So I notice it does affect me. So I pay attention to the air quality day after day after day. I always watch it on the news. Every time I can catch it, I'm always looking ahead to see what the air quality is and where I'm traveling that particular day. Am I going in from a green area into maybe a red area or a yellow, et cetera, et cetera. It does affect me a little bit with my health conditions that I have. So love your videos. Very informational. Thank you. Means a lot. It really does. Thank you. I hope I am providing some valuable information. That's my goal. So, and that's why I got started with it. We had a lot of people moving to the state of Utah. And I seem to get the same questions over and over with them. So I figured I do it on a video and then people can learn and see how things are that I can come up with. So we'll have a new video out this weekend also. So another question. You should do what Iowa does. Get some giant solar fans to blow it away. Wow. Do they do that in Iowa to get rid of the bad air? So, yeah, I have not heard of that, but it might work. We actually have, and it's kind of like it's kind of a like a joke in Utah, and some people who have only lived here maybe the last 5 or 10 years probably aren't familiar with this, but out in the Great Salt Lake, they built these huge pumps out there. And they were built in probably the early 80s. And the idea was there was a fear of flooding because we did have some flooding that went on in Salt Lake City. So these pumps would pump the water out of the Great Salt Lake. And since they built the pumps, our Great Salt Lake water amount has been shrinking, and there's just like a joke in Utah that eventually the water level is gonna go down to where you'll be able to see the pumps. So it's kind of a standing joke around here. They just haven't been used. So, and I'm sure it was multi-million-dollar project to build them. That's only northern Utah. On the air quality, correct. I do not believe southern Utah has the inversion effects. Not 100% certain, but population is increasing so much down there, so it's a possibility they may end up with some yellow days, et cetera, et cetera. Andy, have you met and exceeded your goal? Thanks. I can't remember what my goal was. Oh, no, Iowa doesn't have bad air. They just have fans. Oh, okay. Yeah. And the air quality has come because of the growth too. More people on the road, more cars, growth with businesses because we have more drive-throughs and more, as the counties and cities have built more infrastructure. People waiting in line at banks, drive-throughs, fast food, et cetera. We're basically experiencing what California has gone through for years. When they had massive growth, and I can remember LA, driving into LA, and you see this huge cloud over LA. So I remember those days. So yeah, it's something we've dealt with there, and the state takes it very, very seriously. So there's always reports out, and they're going after everything they can to clean up the air and come up with some resolutions. So as we go, and we possibly, as we look long term, we will probably it could improve with the new administration in Washington D.C. has a heavy push right now on going green, electric vehicles, et cetera. And as those start hitting the market, and we've cleaner burning cars that are gas powered and electric vehicles, as that population increases, the air quality can only get better. I think I read a report where GM said they would be 100% electric vehicles by is that a 2030 or 2035? Can't remember the exact date, but it's right around the corner. So I think in Europe, I don't remember the date, but they moved it forward. They're originally going to be, you were not allowed to buy a gas or diesel powered vehicle in England. I believe it was within 2030, and I think they've lowered that to 2025 now, last I heard. So we'll see how it goes there, as to how it will go in this country. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, whatever for cleaner air. My only one question has always been with the electric cars is, do we have the infrastructure? And we don't. We at the moment, where does everybody charge your car? So you take trips out of state, where Las Vegas, Idaho, Montana, and where do you stop to charge your car when we have a lot of cars on the road that would need to be charged? I just don't know if we have the infrastructure personally. So, and then we also got some issues with electrical power here in Utah as it is. They're always trying to get people to conserve and everything, especially during the summer months. A lot of people run their AC system. So if everybody was plugging their car in at nighttime, would we have to build more power plants? So, and they don't want the coal burning power plants, and then your nuclear power plants people are being turned off to those because of possible terrorist implications. So, okay. Oh no, I would. Okay. Yep. I got that question. Great. Any more questions this evening? Great questions there. Inversion always comes up. So, and the inversion predominantly is in the winter months. So during the summer months, you may get like some yellow air days, but majority of the inversion days are in the winter months. So, and it depends when the storm come through. So, I mean, we've had great air here in the last couple of weeks, but we had like a storm come through 2 days ago. So, and then we've got another one coming this weekend. So really, and anything that gets a chance to try to settle, it's being pushed along. So, anything else we can answer, we can talk about tonight before we wrap it up for a night? Be back again next week at the same time, same place. How's everyone doing in their state that they live in? I'm always curious about how everybody's handling the COVID situation in a particular state. Are you seeing numbers go down, or are numbers increasing in your state? Is there more lockdowns? Are they easing some of the lockdowns, et cetera, et cetera? So I was just talking to somebody today. NASCAR is coming to Las Vegas. I believe it's in February, actually. Some real close within the next few weeks, and they will have fans. So not as many fans in the stands. They're going to limit, and I guess the infield area where they have a thing down there in Vegas where you can go and walk around all the cars and try. A neon garage is what they actually call it. In a neon garage. Anyways, that area is going to be closed off, so they're not going to allow that this year. But they are allowing fans down in Vegas, so they're selling tickets. Not as many fans, but so it looks like a little bit of and I don't study Vegas a whole lot, but it seems like this might be one of the first events in Las Vegas going on, with fans, because all your trade shows, your concerts, everything like that has been canceled for Las Vegas. We go every February. My wife has some continuing education schooling to accomplish every year. And we usually do it in Vegas, and she knocks it all out in 1 week, et cetera, et cetera. And there's like 30,000 people that come to Mandalay Bay for the education. We take up like 3 hotels, Luxor, Mandalay Bay, New York. People are staying in those hotels. And that was canceled. Boom, just like that. 30,000 people that are coming just for that education. That's just on that end of town. I mean, the money that Las Vegas is losing is got to be enormous. So we're not down there this February. So, and the other 29,000 plus won't be in town either. So they are putting that off tentatively till like September. Do you think Utah is getting overpopulated? No, I would say no. And I mean, some of my videos, I get people in Utah that watch my videos, and I get some comments like, don't produce them. We don't want people moving here anymore, et cetera, et cetera. But, people have the right to move and live where they want to. This is the United States. So I do not think it's getting overpopulated. We have lots of room to grow. We can't go too far east and west. with the mountains and the Great Salt Lake. But north to south, there's lots and lots of area to still build and increase cities. So whether you're heading south into Spanish Fork area, Nephi, areas like that to the north, Brigham City to Tremont, to further north from there. No, there's still lots of areas for growth. And so if you've ever driven through Utah, you know about all of the space. Yeah, correct. It is, and then when you pretty much, so if you're heading south to Las Vegas, once you get out of Utah County, so Provo, Orem area, it is open space all the way till you hit Cedar City, which is a average sized town. And then the next area would be St. George. But your trip from, there's some towns in between, from Utah County, Provo, Orem, Lehigh area, all the way down to Cedar City. There's some small towns in between, but that's probably about a 150, 200 mile stretch, just that alone. And then when you're heading north, it's pretty populated from all the way up to Ogden, North Ogden. There's a little bit of a gap before you get to Brigham City. There's a lot of open land still there. Then once you get past Brigham City to Tremont and past Tremont, up that area, the Logan area, there's lots and lots of open space. So going east, west, north, south, it's still lots of areas. So lots of open space, correct. People in the West always say, keep the Californians out. Yeah. And it's Idaho, similar, and Utah, similar, and people want to like restrict and I get comments on my videos, don't make them, don't encourage people to move here, etc. This is America. This is what we do. Land of the free. You have the right to move anywhere you want to and live anywhere you want to in the United States. So that's what makes our country so great. So I wouldn't want to live in a country where they said, nope, you're forced to live right here and that's it. So lots of open space. Yep. No one wants to drive 30 minutes to go to work or to the store. Yeah, some people don't. I actually have a lot of people that are willing to drive 30 minutes to work or more or to the store, just so that they can live in the country, a little bit more rural area, maybe in the mountains. And very popular, very, very popular, especially with people who have the opportunity to work from home. Yes, they definitely will. Drive 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I personally don't mind it myself. I've it's a different thinking. My relatives on my wife's side, they're Idaho farmers, and they live in rural. Matter of fact, they're 8 miles outside of a small town. They're literally 8 miles. So their closest major city is Idaho Falls, which is a 1-hour drive. But the way they live life and the way they plan things is remarkable. So when they make a trip to, say, Idaho Falls, to Sam's Club or the doctor's appointments or something, they accomplish a lot of things. So they plan ahead, and it's beautiful out there. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful country where he lives. You have the Tetons in the background. It's great. True. I'm from California and moved to Utah in December. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And there's a lot of people leaving California. There is a lot, and there will probably be even more. There will be more, and I'll go out and say there will be more. And there's two reasons. One is COVID has changed the way people work. There are so many people working from home. There's a lot of people who now have the opportunity to continue working for whatever company they are working from in California, but do it pretty much anywhere in the world. So they are choosing areas like Utah, Idaho, Montana, and packing up and moving. The lockdowns have also sent some people out of California. So some people are not, and I hear this from two states. People communicate with me from California and New York. They are not happy with how the COVID situation was handled, and they want to make a move out of those states. So that has affected. I take California over Louisiana. I have not personally been to Louisiana, so I guess I can't comment on that. But I love California. We vacation in California all the time. So with COVID, we did not this year, but we had plans to go to San Diego this November. I don't know if that's going to happen. It all depends if California is going to allow the event that we're going to. We'll see how that goes. Are you a Utah Jazz fan? Yes, I am. I do like the Jazz. So, yep. Catch a game every once in a while. I got a few friends of mine. We'll take the train down and have a nice meal and go to a Jazz game, et cetera, and have a good time. Have a guys' night out. It's great fun. So, I am a Jazz fan. When it comes to basketball, I'm in the state of Utah, I'm probably a bigger college ball fan. So I attend a lot of college football games and a lot of college basketball games. And I've been to like the University of Utah games. I'll catch one or two. I like the Weber State basketball myself. It's we've had some great people come through there. Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers played his college ball at Weber State. He's probably one of the best players in the NBA. A lot of people have heard of him. I love Weber State basketball. It's very affordable. It's affordable for families. You can, I'm not too sure what the ticket prices are going to be. It's no fans right now, but used to be able to buy, last year you could buy tickets for $10. And if you're a member of like America First Credit Union, every once in a while they would have an America First night and you could get 4 tickets for free. So it's Weber State Sports is great value. I love running up there to a game. Great value for the family. And so, Jazz tickets are, it's I don't say they're expensive, but it's definitely expensive if you're going to every game. So it's not uncommon to pay a few $100s a ticket per person. So, all right. Do you have 20% down payment for a home? Do you have to have 20% down payment? No, you do not have to have 20% down. One advantage of having the 20% down is the PMI insurance. A lot of times it will not require you to have the PMI insurance on it. So you will save a little bit in your payment if you do have 20% down. But there are 0 down loans out there. More of the typical ones are probably 3% ones. But if you qualify, sometimes you can get a 0 down loan. So VA loan too. So that's a 0 down loan. COVID wrecked Mississippi. They went from 48th back down to 50th in quality of life. Oh, because of the COVID? Yes. COVID has changed a lot around our country. And I would imagine that this year and next year we'll probably see some of the largest moves around the country. I feel there's 2 things. One would be jobs. Job situation in some states are not looking very good. So people will move to where the jobs are. So that'll cause a lot of people to move. And then I was busy reading a question there and I lost track there. So the job situation and also the COVID situation. Some people get to work from home and now they are going to decide to live where they would like to live. So Good news. Easter Jeep Safari Moab is back on this year. Well, is that today's news? Because last night they just announced that it was canceled. They had a disagreement with the local city ordinance, I believe, only allowed so many people. And the only way around that was with like an amendment or a waiver, and it had to be brought in front of the city council. So I saw in the news last night that the Jeep Safari was canceled. Oh, you got a new email moments ago. Okay, well then that's new news because it was canceled yesterday, and I guess it's back on today. So good. Are you glad that things in Utah are not closed? Yes, 100%. 100%. We have stayed open as a state. And yeah, I'm 100% happy. I mean, I make my living buying and selling homes. So if we were shut down, very, very difficult. They've allowed us to stay open. We don't really have open houses. We've worked around it a little bit, and that's just my industry, but a lot of industries that I know that people are in, our unemployment rate has stayed low. And I don't know what the restaurant situation is in other states, but we've had closures from some restaurants, but some are making it by the slimmest of slimmest margins. They've got tables blocked off, so you can only sit in certain tables. They've had to adapt to carry out food, et cetera, et cetera. Some are making the most of it. Some are barely surviving. But I think if we were closed, we would see more shut, which I don't want to see because I love the mom and pop businesses, especially the mom and pop restaurants. I know many of them. I just did a video on places to eat in the Ogden area, and everything on my list right there was a mom and pop business. So to see any of them close would break my heart. So, and that goes for everywhere. Just got a new email. Oh, correct. Moving to Utah in the summer. Never had a basement. Pros and cons of a basement. Go, no go when looking for a home from the Texas coast. So as far as go, no go, you do not have a lot of options in Utah. Most homes are basements unless they're a slab on grade build. And so your patio homes, those homes are a smaller percentage of our overall homes. To me, a basement is 100% go. And I'm going to explain it. One big advantage, even if you're thinking of no basement. So my mom passed away years ago in 2002. So my dad moved into a home, about 8 years ago. So he just wanted a patio home. So I told him, no, Dad, you buy a one-level home, but with a basement. Do not finish the basement. Just keep it so you have something for storage. The space could always be handy. He doesn't have to finish the basement. There's only him, and he bought a 3-bedroom house, and he is so glad he did that. He's like, so glad he took my advice and he did that. He now uses his basement. He got into building model aircraft, remote control aircraft, big wingspan. So he has a place down there with a concrete floor that he can paint. He can do whatever. He builds them from scratch, sand the wood, everything, make a mess, and he can leave it down there if he wants to. Go back upstairs, go downstairs, clean it up. But if you spill some paint, it's on the concrete, you can clean it up. It's not on your carpet. It's not on your kitchen floor or kitchen countertop. So he is very, very happy that he got the basement. He stores all his Christmas stuff down in the basement. When Christmas time comes, he just brings them upstairs, keeps other things down there. But the storage factor, he more than excited that he opted for a basement. So pros and cons to a basement, I would say that would be the pros. Whether you need the space or not, it's always handy. You can do so much with a basement, home theater down there. So if you're not using it for bedrooms, et cetera, et cetera. You can do home theater. You can put yourself a gym down there, hobby room, art, craft, photography studio. This is my basement right here. So you are looking at my basement. That's where I film everything I've got in my basement. So in my household right now, there's only me and my wife. So we have a lot of room, and that's what I use the basement for. So the cons to a basement, I would say in the winter months, depending on your heat system, I put a fireplace down here to give more heat as heat rises. So it's typically a little bit cooler down here. It'll be a little bit cooler in the summers too, though. So the other downside would be, I guess, if you're a little more claustrophobic, depending on what kind of windows you have. My windows are ground level, so it doesn't feel as claustrophobic. So if you get a little bit claustrophobic, you might find that a basement would be, you may not like a basement as much, but I think it's a great option, even if you don't use it. 100% use it as a, I don't know, you could build a motorcycle in your basement. I mean, you'd have a space, but we use ours. I use it for like this here. I also have my recording studio. I do all my videos in the basement. I have my own. I have a room full of home gym, and we have a spare bedroom for guests to stay in, and a bathroom. And the number one thing I requested that we have is I have another laundry room down here. So we have a laundry room upstairs and one downstairs. And there's only the two of us in my house, but we both work. And it has come in ever so handy having the spare washer and dryer. Sometimes the wife is using upstairs and I can just go downstairs and I can do a load of laundry and not. It also came in real handy. Just about 3 weeks ago, our washing machine broke. Well, if anybody's tried to buy appliances in the last 3 or 4 months, it's difficult. A lot of things have to be ordered in. Well, we didn't have to worry about it because we had a washing machine downstairs to use. So we had them ordered in, didn't have to rush. So it's pretty handy. Okay. I definitely want a baseline for a pool table or a basement for a pool table. There you go. Yeah, you can make it's a great area to make if you want a bar downstairs, pool room, whatever you want. Great place. Some people will do man caves down here. And I've been to some homes that are fascinating. They're a Cowboy fan, Steeler fan, whatever. And that's where they'll take a room down there and then they'll watch the football games down there, big screen TV. It's Super Bowl weekend. So big screen TV, they have all their memorabilia all over the wall and it's their man cave and they absolutely love it, or basketball team or whatever. And, so yeah, I've seen some really, really cool things done with basements. No basements, any of the deep south. Yeah. And it depends where you go. So northern Utah, you see basements. Southern Utah, you do not see very, very many basements. Some of that in southern Utah is the ground surface is very hard to dig into. So it's very expensive to do a basement down there. Yeah, in the summer when it's hot out. Yeah. So, so many years ago, when I was single, I bought my first house and I didn't have air conditioning. So we had just a swamp cooler, and that's what most people use, was a swamp cooler. So what I would do in the summer months, because upstairs it was warmer, what I would do in the summer months was I would take my bed downstairs to the basement and I'd sleep down there and it'd be nice and cool. I didn't need any air conditioning at all. And I'd bring the TV and everything down there and it'd be nice and cool. So yeah, in the summer when it's hot. Yeah, in northern Utah and some of the other north states, do more people have indoor pools for the winter months? You do not see a lot of pools in Utah. Indoor pools, very, very rare. I don't think I've come across any. My neighbor 2 doors down has an outside pool. You don't see a lot of indoor pools. What are you doing for the Super Bowl? Predictions, who will win? Wow. Well, I'm actually not doing anything for the Super Bowl. I'm trying to stay out of the whole mass gatherings, COVID situation. I had explained earlier, my asthma, I'm nervous about ever getting the COVID. So I will not be attending any kind of Super Bowl parties. I'll be spending Super Bowl with my wife. There'll just be the two of us. And of course, our pets too. Can't forget about them. But yeah, I'll be having, as far as predictions go, I personally am not rooting for either team. I don't support either team. What I want to see, though, is I want to see a shootout all the way to the end. And I want someone to win it in the last 5 seconds, 4 seconds, or maybe go to overtime and win it. I want to see it go back and forth since my team is not it. Now, if my team was in the Super Bowl, I don't think my heart could handle it. I'd probably have a heart attack with a game like that. But since my team's not in it, I want to see very competitive, back and forth the whole game. And someone wins it in the last second, Hail Mary pass or a run or something. That's what I want. Or interception for a touchdown or something like that. So, okay. Can you read my name? Where's your hairline? Well, the only name I read on that is where's your hairline? So, can you read my name? Tampa Bay. Gonna ring it like they did against my Packers. Good possibility. I mean, both teams. You had the experience with Tom Brady, but Patrick Mahomes too. I mean, he's exciting. There's no doubt about it. So he is exciting, and he makes the game look so simple. I don't know. He just takes the ball and runs it, and it just the game comes to him so simply. But anyways, Tampa Bay. Okay, I'll probably get a hot tub instead of a pool. Hot tub instead of a pool. Yep. A lot of hot tubs in Utah, so I do come across hot tub. Do you like my haircut? I can't really see your haircut. The pictures are so small on my laptop here. I can't really see. New York Giant fan. Yeah. Giants have not done very well this year or some of the previous years, but things can change. You got an amazing running back, probably one of the best in the league. So, but it's an exciting weekend. Super Bowl is always great. So, I follow a lot of the college football here. So, yeah, you know what? That's a good question on those I can't pronounce it really. Barndomium. I see a lot of them being built in Texas for primary residence allowed. Good question. I haven't seen any construction here. And that might be due to some of the contractors just not building them. I see it very popular in like Texas. So if it's allowed or not, that is a good question. I don't know. If you are looking at that, I would call or email the either the city building inspector of an area you're looking at or planning and zoning. They can answer, and usually very, very helpful, both of them. And they can answer that 100% real quick. Definitely. So what areas love your channel? Yeah, I'm not too sure on the areas, and it might be that they might be allowed. We may not be having any contractors building them here that I've noticed. But yes. Who's playing in the Super Bowl? Well, it's going to be Tampa Bay against Kansas City. I may get a condo on the top floor, some cool place in Park City. Yeah, that's very popular. Very, very popular. Park City, great place. Great place. I was just up there about 3 months ago or so with a friend of mine as a contractor. He wanted my opinion on a condo construction up there. They're trying to get more room. Actually trying to, it's a $3 million condo. So it's no small condo. So they're trying to see how they can squeeze. He's got a Denali and he's got a Ferrari. They're trying to fit both vehicles in and looking for some ideas of how they can expand that. So it was a pretty cool trip. I went up with him and gave some thoughts on all that there. But yeah, $3 million for a condo in this area, Park City. It's really nice. So it's a gated community, and I wish I could name who it was, but I was told to secrecy. So Airbnb it when I'm working in Roy. Yes, yeah, Airbnb it definitely. Very popular. Park City's popular in the summer months and in the winter months. So you really don't have a downtime. So between the people coming in the summer months for the outdoor recreation and outdoor recreation winter months, it's busy. It's busy in Park City all the time. But for people who are watching or are going to watch this on a replay, if you visit Utah or you live in Utah, in August, they hold the Parade of Homes in Park City. They call it the Showcase of Homes up there. Take a trip up there sometime. They open the doors to multi-million-dollar homes that you would not normally get access to. Some of them are in gated communities at, I don't know, $15, $20 for a ticket. Spend a day up there. Go up there, have some lunch. You will see some amazing homes and some amazing communities and stuff like that. If you can get into like the Promontory community, they've done quite a few homes in there. They've got like 4 or 5 golf courses in there. They got an equestrian park. They've got fishing, everything. It's amazing. It really is. So yeah, take a trip. It's held in August, and great time. Great time. We hold Parade of Homes throughout. Every county's got one, but the Park City one, and I pop up there every once in a while. I haven't been up in the last couple of years, but yeah, if you just want to take a tour up there, have a day out in Park City area, drive around some of the neighborhoods and look at some of the homes that they offer in the book and they open their doors to. Just beautiful, beautiful. So Missouri or Kansas? Are the roads to worry about traveling from Salt Lake City to Park City? Well, if the roads are dry, no, straight up. If you're traveling up that canyon during a snowstorm, yeah, I would recommend something that's 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive and the correct tires. Hi from Toronto, Canada. Well, hello, Toronto, Canada. I love having people from outside of the country. So, or in this case, just north of us, but how do you see the housing market this year in Riverton, Draper, Lehigh area? Can we expect to go down? The projection on going down, no, it's not projected. So that's the straight answer. And you're talking about 3 areas that have some of our highest job growth going on right now. So now, as I say that comes with a caveat. Interest rates would be one of them. If interest rates start to climb, that I believe will have effect on our housing market. Probably be more of a stable market. I do not know what interest rates are going to do. I know that the Federal Reserve came out 2 or 3 months ago and they anticipated low interest rates for the next few years. Whether that changes, I don't have any information on that. A couple other things to look on the horizon would be the mortgage forbearance, which was due to expire at the end of January, and I believe it's been extended to the end of September. There is a lot of people in mortgage forbearance. What we do not know is, on the mortgage forbearance, do some people, can they legitimately not pay the mortgage? How many cannot? And how many people took the mortgage forbearance just to get out of paying their mortgage for X amount of homes or months, and they've been riding that out, and they're going to continue riding that until September. But when it's September comes, they can make the payments. And how many people cannot make the payments when the payments come due? When you start having to make the payments again. So those numbers are numbers that vary drastically. If we see a lot of people who cannot make their payment, that definitely can change our markets for sure. So the whole country, and I'm basing this on the whole country. This mortgage forbearance is a countrywide thing. So that could change things. The interest rate could change things, and then the economy. So the economy is seems to be pulling out of this COVID pandemic. And we'll see if it continues. So that's the only thing I see changing. The other fundamentals, people moving here, jobs moving here, etc. We don't see that changing in the next year or 2 years. So I don't see it changing. What's the housing market in Ogden or Layton? Busy. All in northern Utah and southern Utah, we as a state, we are busy everywhere. So when do you think the cost of living will go up again in Utah? Well, the cost of living is increasing every month. Our home prices are going up, and so we're constantly getting an increase. So the only thing that may slow that down would be the same things I mentioned between the interest rates, the mortgage forbearance. Oh, the other thing would be the rent relief too. So, the rent thing is going to be interesting too. So it might help bring the rent might help. So the rent forbearance might help some of the low inventory situations. There might be some landlords out there that once they get to evict their tenants might get out of the rental game, might be a little bit tired. So, et cetera, et cetera. It is something that we're going to have to weigh and see how it goes. So thanks for any help. Planning to move to Utah soon from Seattle. Oh, cool. Seattle. My sister-in-law lived in Seattle up until about 2 years ago, and I moved her to Idaho. She left Seattle. So she retired. So sold when Seattle was at a very high price. I'm sure Seattle's still at a high price, but and moved back home to Idaho. So average estimate of HOA fees, neighborhoods in Weber County. So you will find in Weber County, as far as HOAs go, there are not a lot of HOA fees. Predominantly, if you are in the townhome or condo market is where you'll see HOA fees in Weber County. So as far as the estimated price, I've seen it go anywhere from, say, $75 to a couple $100, depending on the amenities. If it's one that they just do the lawn care and the snow removal, a little less. If it's got a pool, et cetera, price goes up to maintain the pools and or if they've got one where they're having security come by and stuff like that. But predominantly in Weber County, you'd be looking at townhomes or condos that would have it, but not a lot of single families. So more on the rare side. F-35s are flying at night. Correct. They typically do not fly at night. But the military is required to do night operations from time to time. So and this is one of the weeks where they are flying night operations. So you will hear aircraft in Davis County and Weber County. Predominantly, I would say Davis County. So they typically launch from the south. The biggest noise when they take off. When they come in, you don't hear them as much, in my opinion. But yeah, night flying does happen. It's something that's always gone on. The pilots have to train at nighttime. So we have the electronic battlefield out here in Utah, so they get experience with that at nighttime and daytime, but it's not a normal occurrence So they try to the military understands that it's an inconvenience for people trying to sleep, and some people go to bed a little bit earlier, and so they try to do it in blocks at a time, a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, and then they won't do it for another maybe 4 or 5 months. So what towns make up Davis County? Wow, there's a lot of towns in Davis County. You've got Layton, Kaysville, Syracuse, Clinton, Clearfield, Kaysville, Fruit Heights, Farmington, Bountiful, North Salt Lake. I'm missing a few, I'm sure. Do you think it's weird that India has 1.3 billion people and have less restrictions for COVID and have less deaths than us? And protocols are still the same, more deaths. Yeah. Good information. I mean, I was not aware of that fact from India. Yeah, that's very good, because I mean, I know places in Europe. There's a lot of places in Europe that are struggling too. It's fascinating. So I have not been into a state that's got a lockdown since this has gone on. So I do not know what's going on, 100% in places like California and New York. But when I look at like California and Florida wide open, California not, Disney World's open, Disneyland is not. And I have no I don't know what the exact data is, but it seems as if, in my opinion, the case counts in Florida and California are probably about the same or similar. It's still an issue in both places. Just because we have restrictions doesn't mean people follow them. Correct. And I would say in Utah, we are doing a fantastic job. We have a mask mandate. We've had a mask mandate for, I don't know, probably the last 3 months. When it first started, you didn't see as many people wearing the masks. But now I can't think of a place I go to, I do not see people wearing masks. It's like 100%, enforced. I mean, or used. People in Utah are wearing the masks, and I think it's really helping. So I'll be paying $175 per month HOA in Clinton once the house is built. It's on a golf course. Yeah. So, yeah. So you must be out in not Hooded Crane, but that's one of the streets out there. Cranefield Estates. I think Cranefield Estates is on the golf course area. Cranefield Golf Course, I believe it's called. Yeah, Cranefield. I thought it had an E in it, but I could be mistaken. Yeah. So great area out there. So, and that's where my dad actually lives. He's in the over 55 community right there. And we were talking about the basements, and he has a basement. So it's an over 55 community that he's in. So I took my mask off twice, once to eat chicken sandwich on the way home and once to eat lunch with a pretty girl. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I wear a mask. So yep. I think we've done a fairly good job here. So our COVID numbers today, I believe we're about 1,500 new cases. So it's our numbers are going down so far. So we'll see if that changes. Good news for me. So, but we, as a state, Utah, we are wide open. Everything is open. I can't think of anything that is shut. Now, with that being said, we do have fans at the Jazz game. It is limited. We have not had any concerts, so they are not allowing the concerts. But pretty much apart from that, we are open. Is there a big honeybee population in Utah? I see beehive Wine and beehive cheese. Yes, yes. There is honey production going on in Utah. Yes. We will have an unfinished basement. We'll have a challenge finding a contractor to finish it. Yes, very true. Typically, if you're building new, some people just have the contractor that's doing it now. Just do it while they're doing the upstairs is one option. So Vermont is doing the best, followed by Wyoming, Hawaii, Alaska with COVID. Oh, good to know. Didn't know much about Vermont. I know Wyoming is doing pretty well. Hawaii, I would imagine Hawaii's doing. They're very strict. It's very strict traveling to Hawaii. So they require COVID test before you leave to get into Hawaii, and I believe they COVID test you when you're in Hawaii. They're locking it down. So, what fruit trees grow best in northern Utah? Good question. I mean, what I see in people's yards typically would be pear and apple. I'm assuming Utah's favorite cereal is honey cones or honey nut Cheerios. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. We have a lot of kids in the state of Utah. So, kids, I don't know what cereal kids eat these days, but when I was a kid, we always ate the sugar-coated stuff. Can't think of some of the names right now, but I would imagine that's probably the favorite with kids in Utah right now. So it's Cookie Crisp. Okay, good. I don't know. I'm not a cereal eater myself anymore, so I don't pay much attention. Is there a sizable, affordable house in inventory for renters? Well, yeah, I mean, so whether you're purchasing a home or you're renting a home, it's a tough market in Utah. So, rentals are in high demand also. So inventory is tougher on rentals also. Same with purchasing. As far as affordable housing, everybody has their definition of what affordable housing is. So by statistics, they still consider Utah affordable, whether you're renting or buying. They're still considering it affordable. So, some people don't perceive it that way. It depends on where you're currently living now, and then you have the old adage of people who have lived in Utah for a long time and they remember what the prices were 30 years ago, and they try to compare, what the prices are today to what they were 30 years ago. And we can do that with everything. You can take the price of a new truck right now. A new diesel truck, $70,000, $80,000. 30 years ago, it was probably 35, 40. So you can do it with a lot of items. So sorry for asking a stupid question. No, there's no stupid question. Not at all. The only stupid question is the one that's not asked. So, nope. Affordable is $1,270 for 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Utah. Yes. So $1,270, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Yeah, you can. You can go all kinds of price ranges. So I have some 2-bedroom, 1 baths because I have a 4-plex, and we rent them for about $850 to $875. So not brand new. They were built in the 80s. But the inside is pretty new. We're always in there remodeling. So, but we have brand new apartments that have been built. There's been construction over the last few years, a lot of apartments. Some of them apartments, are $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600. But it also comes, you're looking at something that was probably just built. It's got the most modern colors, flooring, doors, et cetera. So there's sometimes a price with that. So what's your take on the housing bubble? Most sites spend on a house $2,000 a month. Okay. What's your take on the housing bubble? Well, there's no doubt that what goes up must come down at some point. And right now, the whole country, majority of the country, is probably in a housing bubble. There's no doubt. When that ends is very good question. So if I had the answer to that, I'm sure I'd probably be on every news channel that was out there. So at the thing, but there's a couple things that I think long term on housing that is always in the back of my mind, and the first one's going to be interest rates. 3% interest rates is not normal. It is not normal, and most people have never seen 3% interest rates before. I've never seen 3% interest rates. To me, a normal interest rate is 6 or 7%. I can remember, 10, 12% interest rates in the early 90s. My parents can remember the early 80s of 18% mortgage rates. So, and I think that is high. 18% is high. I think 12 is high. To me, normal would be 6 or 7. When those interest rates go up to what I consider normal, that's going to change a lot. It's going to change people's payments. So at 3% right now, if you qualify for a $500,000 home, we go to 6, 7%. You no longer qualify for a $500,000 home. You'll probably be qualified for 4, 375, something like that. So that's gonna change. The other thing that's going to change is there's a lot of people right now that are refinancing and buying homes at 3%. What are they going to do, say 6, 7 years? The average people will buy and sell a home about every 7 years. What's going to happen when that rate goes back up to 6 or 7%? And they're at 3%. So they want to upgrade to something, maybe a 3-car garage, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they got to pay a little bit more money, but also their interest rate is going to now be 6 or 7 when they're at 3. That makes their payment a lot more. And will they be willing to pay a lot higher payment to upgrade the features of the home, get an extra bedroom or 2, or a different location, different school district, or whatever that their plans were, or maybe that retirement home? Will they do it? So that's something that's always in the back of my mind. I think it's definitely going to stabilize the market at some point. So, granted that it would be a normal rate, 6 or 7%, probably like a normal, but when you're down at 3% and you're having to pay more for the home or possibly more for the home, but definitely a higher payment. I think it depends what age you're at. I think if you're close to retirement, some people might consider that they'll stay in the home that they're at and retire in that home. So it will definitely have an effect. And now when that happens, that could be 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. I don't know when interest rates are going to change. It might be 6 months down the road. I do not know what the current administration that we have in Washington, D.C.'s opinion is on the interest rates. I haven't heard anything from the administration on the interest rates. And that might be because they've got a lot of other things on their plate than interest rates. So best townhome rental recommendations, 2-bedroom. Okay, so I did do a video. I've got a website for you on rentals. So if you're not in the state of Utah, you're probably not familiar with this website. It's called KSL.com. It's a local news station, radio station. Anyways, when you first pull up the website, don't run from it. It'll have a lot of news events and everything on it. But up in the right corner, you'll see I believe it says homes. You click on that and you choose rentals. So KSL.com is bigger than Craigslist in the state of Utah. Most people in the state of Utah do not even use Craigslist. But that website, classified as whatever you're looking for, go there. For rentals also, every landlord, property manager that I know of, all lists on KSL.com. KSL.com is free. Yes. So KSL.com is free. So everybody lists. So you can pull that up and just choose, I believe you can choose townhomes, and you definitely can choose city, zip code, et cetera, and search. It's a great website, though, if you are moving to Utah. It will, if you need a washer, dryer, or you want to sell something, it's free to list stuff. You can, sell your car, sell whatever you got, and or buy or look for concert tickets, or look for, there's business listings in there. Maybe you need someone to do some fencing. Great website. Very, very popular. Well run. 100%. And it's so popular now that states like Idaho and Wyoming are using it. And I actually, so my father-in-law, when he retired, had a combine to sell, and I said, well, let me throw it on KSL down here in Utah and see if maybe a Utah farmer would want to buy the combine. And somebody called me out of Idaho inquiring about it. And I said, well, it's located up in Idaho. Here it is. And he goes, I live like 4 miles away. And so we made the transaction happen. But he was in Idaho, in the Idaho Fall area, and was on KSL and was pulling up combines. So it's used out of state too. So where do you get 3% interest rate? My mortgage broker can't go that low. Okay. I just had somebody that was at like 275. I'm not too sure. I'd have to ask my mortgage guy if it's changed this week. So, and it's also going to depend too on what loan program you are getting. So that does change. Try Golden West Credit Union. A good possibility there at Golden West. I'm not too sure. Shop for your mortgage for the entire state. Yes, for the entire state. KSL.com for the entire state. How is Utah different from other cities? And what should I prepare before moving to Salt Lake City? Well, I would say, so when we're talking interest rate, there's a man on here that just got 2.75. So, how is Utah different from other cities? Wow. What do you need to prepare moving to Salt Lake? I can't think of anything you need to prepare. I mean, I guess it depends on what state you are coming from. So if you're coming from, say, California, different would be weather, 100%. If you're in San Diego, LA County, your weather is going to change. So you would have to prepare during the winter months to own some sweaters, hoodie, jacket, boots from Seattle. So, wow. Boy, what I know about Seattle. Probably wouldn't need your umbrella as much, but don't throw it away totally. I can't think of much you would have to prepare. We're not a whole lot different in 100%. No, politics is different. I was, I don't know. I guess I was a little bit shocked when I was in Seattle with some of the things they allow in Seattle. The drugs they allow, where, homeless people can, you see them on the side of the street and pitch a tent and et cetera, et cetera. So, politics changes a little bit. We're definitely a Republican state as opposed to a Democratic state. So, if you're political, then you would notice some difference there. But we definitely do not have the drug laws like you do in Seattle. And I don't remember the exact amounts, but I believe up there you can legally possess X amount of heroin and cocaine on you without violation of a law. I mean, I've heard that. So, and that's not allowed here. Okay, so it's raining all the time here. Yeah. So We do not get the rainfall that you get in Seattle. We do get snow here. So I would say you definitely would want, we have a little cooler temperatures in the winter months than what you're going to be used to there. So winter clothes, definitely some sort of winter boots with good traction. If you're walking in snow or ice, I would definitely invest in something like that. It's different in that we're very dry where you need chapstick. Yeah, so that's something else. We're a low humidity area, and dry skin, so lots of moisturizer, dry eyes, and it doesn't affect everybody. Me, I use lotion throughout the winter months. My skin does get. I actually don't use chapstick, so it doesn't seem to bother my lips. But sometimes the low humidity during the summer months, especially if I wear contacts, I'll have to use eye drops for sure. So all-wheel drive vehicles are recommended, right? Is best to buy in Utah or neighboring Nevada. As far as for an all-wheel drive vehicle, I would say yes. I highly recommend four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive vehicles in Utah. Yeah, if you're traveling in the snow or you want to go out of state, et cetera, et cetera. A little different than like Seattle. So, yeah, as far as where to buy them, I would, yeah, I would say just make sure if you're in a southern state, and I've heard this happening. Some dealers down there will try to not really market a vehicle, but they'll get you into like a truck that you think is four-wheel drive, and it ends up being two-wheel drive. But I would definitely have it like checked out, make sure it's four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. But if you're in another state and you are in the market to purchase a car and you know that you possibly are going to live in Utah at some point, I would probably make your purchase all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. So got a four-wheel drive truck. Yes. And I'm the same way. I drive a car and I've got a truck. It's great. But, and it depends on, I love my truck because it's so versatile. I mean, you can pull a camper trailer. I can throw mountain bikes in the back, in the bed, fishing poles in the back. Everything I do outdoors goes in the truck. So it's handy. Get a car a bear can't tip over. True. You don't see a whole lot of bears. We do have some bears in the camping areas, but if Utah as a state wasn't different from Seattle as a city, I wouldn't be interested in moving to Utah. Oh, gotcha. Yes. Yeah, I guess there's some differences. I've never personally lived in Seattle. My sister-in-law was there and we visited a couple times. So I was there as like a tourist. On a personal level, I do not agree with some of the things that have gone on in Seattle, where they allowed them to take over part of the city, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's how it goes. In Utah, is it retirement tax friendly? So, okay, retirement in Utah. A lot of things that you read, et cetera, et cetera. We do not make the list on some of the better places to retire. And in my opinion, some of that is because of some of the possible taxes. So I think it's a great place to retire if you're talking about home property tax. Our home property tax is very low compared to states like California and Texas. I mean, it's not uncommon in California and Texas. People pay $10,000, $12,000 for property tax. So in your retirement years, if you have to pay that. We also get a little bit of a ding. Our neighboring state, Nevada, has no state income tax. So we have a 5% state income tax, or 4.95 or 4.9, somewhere close. We'll just call it 5%, but it's across the board. Whether you're making 30,000 a year or you're making 150,000 a year, it's the same state income tax. So it's with that state income tax, we don't hit some of the lists of some of the areas to retire in. That's one little bit of a dings, but we are seeing more and more people retire here, massive amounts. And a lot of it is because people who want to live an active lifestyle in retirement. They love to walk the parks, go on a hike, a bike. Maybe they ski, golf, fish, outdoor recreation. They want to live an active life. And I hear it so many times with retirees that move here, they're looking for homes. And that's one of the number one reasons is they want to stay active in life and get the most out of life. And it's becoming a very popular destination because of the outdoor recreation. So, it's everything's a little different. And I actually had a case. So a man moved here, his whole family from England. He got a job with Autoliv. He was an engineer at the Autoliv is a company that makes the airbags in your car. So he was here as an English citizen with a contract working. So he had a home here and everything like that. Well, they decided to move back to England. They were a little bit homesick in a different country. So they decided that they were going to go back to England. So they went back to England, sold their home here, went back to England. I still communicate with him. And the one thing that he has told me time and time again is he lived a healthier lifestyle here in the United States or in Utah. His lifestyle in England, a lot of it is going to the pubs in the evening. Doesn't feel he's as healthy as he was here. Here he had a mountain bike, dog. Every night he was out, go to the park or whatever. And the culture that he lives in there, he says he doesn't feel he lives as healthy of a lifestyle as he did when he lived in Utah. So it was a very good, that's one of the things he missed. So buy in Arizona where there's no rust. Oh, that's true on a vehicle. Yes. Doesn't number on your paint, though, that sun down there sometimes. Does it rain, snow a lot in the spring? Rain, yes. Snow, no. Generally, your biggest snowfall will be December, January, February. Once we hit March, the temperatures climb. So any kind of snowfall typically is rain. It's not impossible to be snow. But as a general rule, we'll see rain in March, April, May, and it deteriorating as we get further along. So we have a different rain when we're comparing between like Utah and Seattle as far as rainfall goes. I feel in Seattle, you can have a drizzle and it'll go all day. Here, it'll just pour down for half hour and then you could see the sun out, literally. And maybe in the afternoon, you'll get some clouds come over and it might rain again. So it kind of like it'll rain, then shut off, and you can see it in the sky. You'll see the dark clouds and then right behind it, the clear clouds, and it's coming in and passing right through. And so it'll rain for say half hour, an hour, and stop. In Utah, I can force myself to eat better and work out more. Yeah. Yes. There is definitely, I believe my lifestyle in Utah, because I do so much outdoor activity, whether I'm on my mountain bike, I'm golfing, skiing during the winter months. I believe I probably live a healthy lifestyle and than I would if I was in some other areas. So, and I'm not going to name like cities, but I can think of a couple cities off the top of my mind that might make me gain a lot more weight, et cetera, et cetera. But Traffic problem between Layton and South Ogden. Not really a traffic problem. You will find during rush hour a little bit slow and go, and most of it right now in that area is because they are widening the freeway in those areas. So that's going to go on. I don't know if they're going to get that wrapped up this year, but pretty soon. They've got most of, they're expanding it. So right now it's a little bit slow and go, but once that gets expanded, I don't even think we'll have any slow and go. Maybe depends on time of day. So when you get people who work at Hill Air Force Base, usually get off, they say 3:30. Everybody is flooding out the gates going home. So the freeways get a little busy there. So that kind of, so you've got to time it right a little bit sometimes. Love that type of weather. I mean, I love the weather we have here. We have we have 4 seasons. What I mostly love is I love the low humidity. I mean, I have to use moisturizer, etc. But during the summer months and in the winter months, but during the summer months, I can do all the outdoor activities that I enjoy. As long as I have water, I can go all day, whether it's golfing, hiking, etc. The low humidity. Even on a 95-degree day, I'm in the middle of the day, I can be out there. And in the winter months, the low humidity, I mean, it's cold, but it's not cold like you get in New York City and places like that where you have to cover every inch of your skin. You can't have a spot showing because it just goes right through you. So it's a different type of cold. It's a dry cold. Love that type of weather. Yep, that's great. Yeah. So, I mean, I love the low humidity. That's just so I'm a big golfer, and I pretty much golf all year. I was just golfing in January. It's on the rare occasion you can golf in January and February here, but in the spring, and if we get some rainfall, I can go in between the rainfall. And if it's cooler temperatures, which sometimes it is, 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, but I can put like a light jacket on. I'm totally fine. Get into fall weather, same way there, like a light jacket, maybe a hat, go outside, ride my mountain bike. I'm totally okay with that. And if I get too warm, just take a layer off. So I actually layer my clothes. So I'll have 2 or 3 layers. So if I get a little warm, I can take a layer off. So. That's great. Is the job market improving now in Utah after COVID hit last year? I hope to see things back to normal. Well, our job market is almost at normal. We do have a little bit higher unemployment rate than what we did before COVID, but it's very small. We still have one of the lowest unemployment numbers in the country. So it's it is, yeah, it's doing good. It's doing good. So are lift tickets and gear rentals expensive? Wow. So lift tickets are a great question. At one time I used to buy a season ticket to ski resort, and if you ski a lot, buy a season ticket. It is the best way to go by far. And I don't know what the pricing is at the moment. A friend of mine, the best time to buy season passes for skiing is in the spring. When the season ends, you usually find the best deals on a season pass then. So, but a friend of mine, I don't remember the exact numbers. I want to say he got his last spring for $500 some, and he skis at least every weekend, if not during the week. He gets his money worth. So I haven't bought a season pass in a while. So, but yeah, if you're just buying individual lift tickets, yes, it can be a little bit on the expensive side, I feel. I only go a couple times, so for me, it's really not that expensive. But if you are a big snowboarder or skier, people here, they all buy the season passes. 100%. You'll get your money's worth 10 times over. So, and it's not only that. So maybe your outdoor activity is golfing. You can buy at some courses, you can buy season pass. I buy a season pass to golf. So, and I think it's very reasonable. I pay $5 last year. It's a 9-hole course. So it's not an 18-hole course, but I pay $550, and the cart is $300 if you want the cart. So total $850. You can golf all summer, all year. It's actually good for a whole year. All the golf you want. So where can you get a deal like that? I mean, I got my money's worth many times over. Average 2 or 3 times a week, heading out playing 9 holes. Oh yes. So hiking trails are free. Yes. Yep. Unless you're on private land and you're going in any kind of private thing would be the only time. But no, all your hiking trails that I go on, and I know I've none you have to pay. So yep, hiking, mountain biking, stacks and stacks of trails. So I want to say I saw a report one time that we had like 3,400 hiking trails in the state of Utah. So I haven't been on nowhere near that many. I have my favorites and I pretty much stick to them. So depending on your level of experience. So as I get older, I definitely do not go on some of the hiking trails I went on when I was younger. So, but I've got my favorites, and same with mountain biking. So, yep. Free exercise there. So, yeah, hiking trails, mountain biking trails. If you want outdoors, you want cheap and inexpensive, free, whatever. Hiking, biking in the state of Utah, yes, you're set. You're set. Great time. And so, I mean, I love to get a spare moment, throw my mountain bike, and head out. And great time. Great. Love it. Get away from for me, it's some of it's, you get away from the stress of life. We seem to wrap ourselves with cell phones and computers and everything like that. And boy, it's so nice to be on a hiking or trail and be out there in nature and not have any of the modern technology with you. So I know it kind of probably sounds weird, especially to some younger generation, but I absolutely love my free time when that happens. So is Utah becoming a bit more diverse? Yeah, I would say so. Definitely has a lot to offer, and that's one of the reasons we are having such large amounts of growth in Utah. So, okay, I can't believe this evening we've been on for an hour and 42 minutes. Wow, I should wrap this up. I'm an early riser, so it's usually my bedtime by now. So I'm going to call it a night here. I'll be back again next week. Thank you for all the questions. Totally enjoyed it. Everyone have a good weekend, and happy times with the Super Bowl.